one of the biggest problems when downloading a model is seeing how it actually ticks. Seeing what kind of keywords or labels drastically move your artwork forward, as well as getting a gauge for the overall potential of the model itself. In comes our little resource called the Label Library or the Model Hall of Fame, where as you can see, it consists of a lot of labels or keywords or whatever you want to call them, in addition to their corresponding effect on an image. And the way we have it set up is to try to limit the amount of variables so that you can actually see what the AI is doing to it. In this one, we've decided on the kind of model of a witch, essentially. And today we are going to be covering or adding to the Model Hall of Fame a very anime-centered, drawn-centered model, and that model is called WAI Illustrious. A fantastic model if you're into anime or like drawn art styles. Not as strong or powerful in 3D space or realistic type of views, but it can kind of try. But think of this model as being a powerhouse in things like lighting, color specifically is really good and stood out in a big way, in addition to the actual like drawn styles like anime, pencil art, things like that. But anime definitely seemed like the one that it was hard trained on. A very particular type of anime, which we'll get to in a minute. If you would like to get your hands on this, it's entirely free. All you gotta do is go down to the description down below. It will take you to our school course. You will sign up. You'll be given a ton of resources all there. But the main thing you're gonna want to go to is, of course, the course page. You're gonna click this link. It is going to be new. Again, there's another model in there that you can dabble with right now, but it is not fully finished. I'm working on it. But yeah, and it's as simple as going to the course page, clicking the corresponding links like you're seeing, and then boom, just downloading it, and you'll make your own copy of a Google Doc for this. Granted, it is a pretty big file because all of these images are actually fully rendered, so you can copy and paste any of them and put them anywhere outside of the boxes that they're encased by, and they will be at maximum render quality. So that's why it's a bit heavy, a bit heavy. And also, this is your Google Doc to do whatever you want with. This is your copy of the file. You can delete whatever you want. You can make a new tab. You can add your own if you want it. It takes a while, just to let you know. It takes some time. Maybe kind of beefy PC, maybe it takes less time, but still takes time. Without further ado, let me try to summarize what was essentially hours of work to condense and consolidate all of this. Specifically talking about the minutia that I discovered when using WAI Illustrious or WAI Illustrious. I don't know, dude. Anyways, it's what it's called. This is one called Plat Milk. What is that about? I don't know. So before we get too ahead of ourselves, let me just quickly run down what this is in case this is your first time seeing it, because maybe you were enchanted by maybe the thumbnail and this specific model's use case. So essentially what we've tried to do with this entire thing is give information at every step of the way, as well as segment things not only for easier understanding, but also segment them in the way that you usually build a prompt. You usually start with quality metrics because it gives you a really high ceiling. Then you follow it up by like a unique aesthetic, and then you can follow it up by your subjectation, beautifying metrics, yada yada yada. It's pretty easy to infer everything that's going on. Of course, we have a section right here, like you can see, which is talking about the model itself, the recommended settings, as well as the various things like this, which it's kind of telling you to kind of, if you want to veer away from the explicit nature that can sometimes happen with models that aren't, you know, constraint. Yeah, you might want to add things like, you know, not safe for work, explicit, things like that. Anyways, we'll get to that probably in a minute. But anyways, then we just have various good information, which for the model's back end, which in this case, it's Illustrious. So Illustrious does really, really well with actual labels, like keywords. So instead of saying like a woman sitting under an apple tree, it doesn't like that. It wants girl one, a tree, laying down, apple in hand, or apple in hand would work. I'm trying to piece it together in my head. You know, sunny, beautiful lighting, diffused lighting, things like that. So it wants you to segment things. Not all models are like this. Illustrious is. So break it up into like small bite-sized pieces, not long drawn-out sentences. Cool. And then there are various things that like not a lot of people know about still to this day, which is things that you can actually like increase the prompt weight of a certain word, or you can actually increase the connection that AI perceives these two words being connected to. So you can say intricate detailed armor by putting a dash in between all of those things, showing that they're all linked and everything won't just become detailed, basically. Things like that. And alas, finally, we can get into the sauce, the actual stuff. So I'm just gonna cherry pick some things I thought were really unique about the model that to me stood out, and of course you can infer, and I'm sure you can like passively understand the model just by scrolling through these for a little bit. But let's get into it. All right, so before we get too ahead of ourselves, I do need to point out something that I noticed this model has a heavy lean towards. And that is somewhat explicit in nature. So I would just like to say that this thing that was in the mod description, yeah, you're going to want to increase the not safe for work. You're going to want to put in negative prompts this, which is explicit, not safe for work, sensitive, and general, things like that. A lot of times, without even trying, you're going to be getting characters that look ridiculous. Absolutely unhinged. Case in point, this one. This one was great. This was all of them, basically. Fighting for my life here, trying to be professional. Okay. But yes, things like this, a lot of them. Things like this, a lot of them. Now, for some of you, that's gonna be great. Honestly, I do believe there's an NSFW version, like a fully explicit version of this model. So if you wanted to get really unhinged, you could pop off king, queen, I don't know. Anyways, but for me, we're trying to ground ourselves here a little bit. Okay, so with that being said, again, one of the things I noticed with this model that was absolutely fantastic, once again, this is our control, and this is our new prompt that we're working with, which is a female witch hat, witch robe, standing, white background, was basically the prompt that we basically ran with, and then this was the thing that we put at the very beginning. So that's basically our kind of weird science control and output variables. Cool. As you guys can see, Masterpiece is always king, as well as Masterwork does really well with giving you more intense lighting, but it looks a little bit more, not like less grounded, I guess. Looks a little more dreamlike, I suppose. This one stands out, which is interesting, which is you put absurd res, 4K, clothing, things like that. I did have to increase the weight for this one, just to be able to get more of an effect. And as always, like you can see here, when we're using stuff like absurd res or hyper detail, we want to decrease the level of prompt weight because it oftentimes creates like a weird overbaked look, which makes things look worse and not better. So you want to be always softer when you're using intricate detail. You want to specifically give it like context for what you're trying to apply the intricate detail to. Like intricate detailed armor is a great idea. A lot of the times I did notice that the model basically creates this like kind of foggy hue, which is not entirely bad. I'm not sure if it's trying to mess with depth. I kept this one in here just to show you guys the kind of problem when you actually add intricate detail and it's too high. So this is a great example that shows what happens when you do too much intricate detail. It looks overbaked. There's also another example all the way down here, which this is with looking at viewer, different than intricate detail, but there are certain keywords that you can't like do more of. Like you can only make something more intricate detail to a certain point, and there are lures that allow you to infinitely scale it, which you should probably use those. But when you're just trying to use it through a label, the AI is like, I already made it intricate, like I can't make it more intricate, so then it gets lost and then it kind of just creates this overbaked process. The same thing can be said for looking at viewers. It's not like they can look more at viewers when you start increasing the prompt weight. It's just one movement or angulation. So in moments like that where it got really overbaked, I pulled it back. But again, we're trying to see what this lever actually moves with this model, or if it moves the model at all, right? Sometimes you use a label and for whatever reason it ain't moving anything. Also, by the way, I didn't mention this, but I basically made it so it's smaller so people can get like more of a holistic whole view of everything, but you can easily just zoom in, and yeah, it'll keep the quality. Like if I scroll down, you guys can see that it's not getting blurry, so like you can really get into the details. Like I said, these are fully rendered, so by zooming in, you actually don't lose out on the quality of anything, so you can zoom in an absurd amount. But anyways, once again, the warm diffused light to me is king, and especially in stable or illustrious. It is such a powerful keyword label, whatever you want to call it. So good. Also, once again, cinematic accompanied with anything, cinematic lighting, cinematic clothing, cinematic composition will give you so much yield. Hence why this is grayed out, is because it's trying to tell you that this is, you can put cinematic in front of anything and it's going to give you a relatively nice effect. Things like that. Ambient light also always fun, but I think for me it's been replaced by warm light diffusion. Anyways, as far as styles, oh boy, does this thing absolutely kill it when it comes to like drawn styles. Blue and orange themes, it nails really well. Again, we are increasing the weight of the colors by a lot. So if you wanted more soft tones, you would just decrease the prompt weight. We're running a 1.6, which is pretty heavy. It's basically making it so like it's doing like 7 passes of really trying to make it, blue and orange. Hence why it is so blue and orange. We're trying to see the effect. Anyways, once again, heavily stylized clothing. This is one that's kind of difficult to get to work because we're running a control node that kind of forces it to not deviate too much because we're just trying to see the aesthetic coloration and lighting changes. Anywho, as you can see, realistic, it doesn't look great. In my opinion, realistic is pretty bad. It kind of gets like a weird 3D-ish thing, but I would just not use realistic or like 3D model effects or digital art effects with this model. I don't think it does really well, but for everything else, dude, it kills it. Watercolor looks fucking brilliant. So good. Again, so many times watercolor is like it seems like an after effect, like a processing filter. This one, it nails like the actual vibe, the way color like blends, super good. Same thing with hatching or hitching, whatever it's called, hatching. This like super drawn kind of pencil art style, sketch, all that stuff. You can see how they look slightly different. It's funny how keywords that seem similar are like so drastically different. Once again, pixel art always looks fantastic. Retro art style is also pretty fun. Once again, oil painting, I find I don't get this like type of look if I don't put oil, despite it looking like it just mixes like a painting style with oil, which I know is weird, but I just don't get this type of like this like look of an oil painting without putting it there. So I don't know. I tried to, it's a weird one. Painterly looks fantastic as well, and of course you can get weird with it and actually add like themes like cyberpunk and things like that. And of course your big needle movers here are going to be things like aura, atmosphere, theme. So you can say dark theme, happy theme, woodland theme. You could say you know, mystical, intense, scary aura, anything like that. It's funny because this one actually interprets aura as like mystical, actual magical powers, and sometimes it's more of like a theme, but perhaps you should just use the word theme instead of aura, but alas. And of course you can do some more abstract things when it comes to style and mood, specifically mood like peaceful. You can see that everything seems more soft and like dreamlike and things like that. Ethereal kind of starts messing with weird magic stuff. Anywho, but this to me is where it really kind of stands out. The compositional stuff was actually pretty decent. That's not a weak point of this model. Once again, complex composition. You can see the clock tower behind of so much going on. There's these intricate magic symbols below it. Then there's weird stuff like wide shot, which it does a pretty good job at as well. We also have establishing shot right here, which also does pretty well. In fact, I think it does amazing. And high angle. This is something that will often break models, where like it will distort the ground and all that weird stuff. But this one actually did it pretty well. And then of course we have ones that are all again cinematic, and anything just makes it have a really cool feel and style. All in all, compositional stuff gets a green flag from me. Now, this is where it does, in my opinion, this is the weakest part of the model. So yes, it's pretty weak when it comes to like realism, basically, but it never really claims to be that, just to be fair. Just thought I'd make it make sense by saying that. But it also struggles with, it's good with composition, which is funny because you wouldn't usually see this. It's good with composition, but it's not very good with like your subject, basically. So the subject that you're doing. So like when I tried to prompt a dude, this model does not do well with dudes at all. It's a woman-based model, and you can tell that based on the results you'll get. But also other things like for instance, watermarks are something that came up, even though I had it in the negative prompts, watermark and stuff like that, or text even. So we're just calling all text and we're calling all that. It still showed up. So it's something that it's not the biggest problem. You can easily just white it out, usually if a white background, but just thought I'd mentioned that I noticed it kept coming up. But yeah, when I tried to do a dude or man, even something like this, which is like old grizzled man, one man, old, and his face is grizzled, it barely worked. Like if I'm being honest, I had to generate like 2 or 3 of these just to kind of start to get it kind of close. And yeah, I like whenever I have to generate 5 times, I just feel like it's not working the way I want it to. I'm like basically flipping the coin, and I feel like that's bad data. So then I usually just like, I'll just take away that variable entirely. And that's something that hopefully people will infer. Like if you don't see any dudes here, it's probably because they just don't work really well with the dude people. I'll probably put 1 in there where like it kind of can work. Anyway, yeah, when you wanted like hyper specific things, it didn't really do well. You could get away with some stuff, like a boy that also happens to be like a demon or something like that. It can work slightly, but as you guys can see, where it works really well is things that are like lady adjacent characters. So like an elf, female elf wizard, boom, it nails that completely. Yes, again, once again, the actions, so like it's just the subject that I felt like was inconsistent with this model, but the actions that they take were actually pretty on the mark. So long as it was a woman, it nailed it. If it was like a dog, if it was like a wolf or something, it's when it kind of gets like, what is that, you know? Again, reaching at viewers, fantastic. This is where usually a lot of distortion happens. The salute, it nails. The magic, of course, it does really well. The potion thing, dude, the amount of times everything in the background gets all messed up and etc. happens so often. And one more thing I forgot to mention. This time around, we've anchored down into one specific style so that you guys can see the gradient change in what these prompts do. Instead of it always jumping around to 3D, realistic, or whatever. Now we've anchored it to anime source, which is basically anime adjacent, because when I was testing all the styles, that was the one that seemed like the most solid. Anyways, back to subjectation. Again, primary subject when you're defining a characteristic of a character like dog or man don't really do really well. but every single thing else does so well. Again, primary actions are fantastic, but also detailed characteristics like wearing glasses or certain tropes like tomboy or Gara or anything like that, it absolutely nails. And actually, it nails those characteristics exceedingly well, honestly. And then the same thing with the expressions. The expressions are fantastic, it nails that as well. And then lastly, the beautifying metrics are a really weird thing, actually. That was the one I found looked a little uncanny valley. I feel like you're much better off with this model of just going with like Masterworks, Masterpiece, or anything like that. You don't lean too much into beautifying metrics, because I think the beautifyingness is already good. Doing it too much creates this over-processed, really too adherent look. And things like that. But ladies and gentlemen, now moving on to the actual end, which is where we throw it together in our big soup of prompts. And this one didn't really do well because some of our other prompts aren't really using anime as a source. Moving forward, I probably will change up our like maximum effort, which isn't maximum effort, it's just kind of I whipped it together. But anyways, they're okay, nothing too absurd or anything like that, but ultimately not bad. I think though this one is definitely best when you just anchor to anime source and anything else, or any kind of drawn art style. I think this is where this one excels exponentially. But alas, I hope you guys check this out, and like I said, there is another model within the label library, but it's under construction. It's not fully finished, so be careful looking at it. It may not be perfectly idealized, but it will be soon, and when it is, I will release a full video showcasing it. It might be a more realistic model, in fact, maybe too realistic, alas. And as always, at the very top of the course, the label library, if you look at the install of the actual model, it will take you to the actual mod authors page on Civitai itself, so you can go support them in everything they do, as well as the corresponding other many loras and other things that interact with this model in an amazing way. So I would definitely say go check that out if you really do like the results you're seeing, because usually the mod author has created 17 different types of splinter things that will get your brain absolutely cooking when it comes to loras or different permutations of the model and whatever you want to piece together. If you want a fantastical stack of resources, head over to our school community where I put damn near everything there. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, and I hope I was useful. Thank you, and goodbye for now, my friends.